good morning, or good evening. Welcome to another episode of Untouchable City Prepper, my first video of the year. And if you're watching this, you have officially made it to 2026. You guys, you have officially made it to 2026. And I'm going to get right into it. And I'm going to try my best to be as respectful as I possibly can on this matter, because I'm married. I'm not a pastor of a church, obviously. And I'm going to try to look at this from all angles without being too disrespectful. Because I know that there are a lot of men, and particularly black men, who really are trying to stay married. And sometimes that's hard to do for numerous reasons. And I'm going to talk about the dress. I'm not going to talk about her specifically, but I'm going to just talk about the dress that Jamal Bryant's wife wore. And he went into his church and he said they don't know that they raised $4 million and they did all this for HBCUs and all this other stuff. And I think that's awesome. I think that's fabulous. You know, anytime we can raise money for college for kids, I think that's awesome. But you're a pastor of a church. And a lot of people don't know, when you're a pastor or a leader especially in the Christian religion, you're going to be judged differently by God, because you're a teacher and you're responsible for your people that you're leading. So keep that in mind. That's in the Bible, that shepherds are going to be judged a little bit differently than just regular people like you and I. You know, just like men are going to be judged for their household on how they over their family, you know. And a lot of people don't know, Adam only did one thing to be removed from the Garden of Eden. He didn't do 2 things, he didn't do 3 things, he didn't do 4 things. He only did one thing where God dismissed him from the Garden of Eden. He only did one thing. And notice that in the Bible, if you're a Christian, if you live in holy, if you believe what the word says, like I do, nothing happened when Eve ate of the fruit, the forbidden fruit, the tree of knowledge. God came back and he asked for Adam. Adam, where art thou? So I say this before I get into this video. Men, we gotta be more responsible with our families and our women, and we need to hold them accountable. We need to hold them to a higher level. You know, now if you a rapper, if you some kind of rapper, you know, thought shaking your ass out there trying to be in a rap video, you going to a club, you know what I'm saying? That's different. You could look like that. You know, but if you trying to represent your church, don't even think about it. It's a mega church. And that's a whole nother video on how these mega churches are just leading black people down the wrong road. And they sending them straight to hell. Because this is the example of how black women are being misled. And a lot of men don't have enough strength and fortitude to tell their wife that, hey, you can't wear this. You can't have this. There's certain things that as men, we got to stand up for. Because if they don't, a lot of women are really just running their men in their house. You know? And I believe that Jamal Bryant is one of these pastors who's just, his wife is just running his church. His wife is running his household. And he think it's fine. And he said, well, I bought the dress. Okay? Number one, I would never let my wife wear no dress like that outside. Never. Pastor, and I'm not even a pastor of a church. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even a pastor of a church. That's degrading and that's disrespectful. That's something that you wear in an intimate moment with just you and her. You know, especially for a fundraiser. You know. And I'm watching him justify what his wife was wearing in his church, and all the black women just, yeah, girl, yeah, he right, yeah, you right, yeah, you right, yeah, and all this other stuff, okay? But in reality, it's just showing that you don't have control over anything that your spouse does, because there's no way any respectful pastor will let his wife wear that. And I don't care what you say. Am I right, I say? You know, there's no way. You can't tell me that any pastor that believes in the word of God will let his wife wear something like that, especially to a fundraiser. For I don't care how much money they raise. And you could call me what you want. I can hear you in the comments right now. And it's only black women who feel like that. You know? But that's just, I would feel more disrespected of, you know, men gawking over my wife. You know what I'm saying? Especially if she already got curves and kind of voluptuous. You know, I don't know how you would feel like a man, especially if I'm a pastor and that's representing my church. You know, and like I said, I wouldn't let my wife wear that outside even if she was with me. You know? Now, if you single, you looking for a man, you going to a club, you want to get tipsy, you want to get banged that night, if you a woman out in the street, if you trying to be promiscuous, if you trying to put yourself out there, you going to having a girls' night out, ain't none of y'all married, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Go ahead, knock yourself out. You know, go ahead and do that. But if you got morals and standards, I don't believe you put your wife out there like that. Because the biggest thing you could tell by a man is, look at his wife. Look at his wife. And that's one thing I had to learn when I married, because before somebody look at me, they're gonna look at my wife. Look at how she talks to you. Look at how she dressed. Look at how she speaks to you. And I could tell he's just a man who his house is run by his wife. You know, I could tell. And he's already growing weed on his church, on the ground of the church. He already said he would marry 2 men and 2 women. He supports homosexuality. So this isn't like surprising to me. But the black church is so invested into homosexuality, women dressing like this. This is the normal for the black church in urban cities, because these pastors are generating millions and millions of dollars. So they're not going to speak out on anything that's going to jeopardize them getting millions of dollars or thousands of dollars or driving a Porsche or Bentley. They're going to keep catering to what's keeping money in their pocket. And I think her wearing that dress shows that's what the black community and Democrats, that's what they love. That's what they want to see. Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. And that's why a lot of women will never be married. That's why a lot of black women want their sons to be their husband. Because they want to dress like that. They want to do things like that. And they don't want any repercussions. They don't want anybody telling them what to do. And as soon as you tell them what to do or how to dress or how to be presentable, oh, you don't tell me what to do. You ain't my daddy. You don't pay none of my bills. Or who is you? You don't make no money. You know? And that's the persona in the black community. That's why in Detroit, there's 50 churches on every corner in the city of Detroit, and all the women dress like that. And that's why I quit going to church. I still pray to God. I still have a great relationship with Jesus Christ. But that's one of the reasons why I started following Pastor Geno Jennings. If y'all don't know who he is, look him up. Greatest pastor of our era right now. But that's why I quit going to the traditional black church. Because all they're teaching black men to be is homosexuals, give away their money, and no respect for yourself or your wife. And they're embracing homosexuality, and they putting their wives out there like hoes. So let me know what you guys feel about this video. Let me know if I'm right, I'm wrong. I appreciate you guys tuning in to my video today. I love you with the strength of Christ as always. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to you and your family. And I hope you enjoyed this video.